And excellent. Thanks so much, Vina, for your kind introduction and all your help. Genau. So let me just click here on the continue button. Yeah, thank you for your kind introduction, Vina, and also welcome, a very warm welcome also from our side. So it's actually many product managers from our SAP Integration Suite product management team are here in the call, and we all together, of course, want to answer all your questions. So besides Tusha, I just saw also Fini, for example, Gayatri, Vinayak, Axel, Albrecht, so several speakers of us who you might have met earlier at other events, SAP events like SAP TechEd and other SAP events, and from emails and blogs, from the monthly webinars, etc. So on social media. So we're all here together. Please, every SAP colleague who joined us late, please kindly also rename to your actual name. So that we can all see you here. Yeah, Vina mentioned it. So as of a few days ago, actually end of January, so the SAP Cloud Platform capabilities are now available now under a rebrand. So a rebranding has been done, and yeah, and the SAP Cloud Platform Integration Suite runs now under the name of SAP Integration Suite. Now, other capabilities have been also similarly have been renamed. Further information you can find on the public web pages of SAP, and the other disclaimer is the usual roadmap disclaimer. So please also always take a look at the current roadmap with respect to future plans that we talk about in this Q&A session. So this Q&A section actually is yeah, based on a blog. Let me find the blog here. So it's actually a follow-up from the live expert session that we had at TechEd end of last year, beginning of December actually. And today we would like to offer another yeah, opportunity for you to ask questions, and we, yeah, all of us, of course, are more than happy to respond to your questions. There is this yeah, initial blog here available, which is also linked from the community pages that Vina mentioned earlier. So we can, so thanks, Alexei. And there was at least one more person who provided questions up front. So we can take maybe first take a look first at the initial questions. Now, as a warm-up, please post additional questions into the chat. Hopefully my colleagues can respond either via the chat to your questions, and otherwise, of course, once I'm done here, going maybe quickly through the questions initially, and of course we can spend time on other questions on your interest. And please, my SAP colleagues, kindly support when we add any additional context to the question as well. So today we will be talking on the SAP Integration Suite, which is our strategic integration platform as a service for the integration of SAP and non-SAP applications on-premise, in the cloud. We support, of course, hybrid integration scenarios. We provide prepackaged content. More than 2,000 integration flows are delivered out of the box with any integration license. Yeah, integration of all kinds of non-SAP systems. So we're covering key components of the integration suite, like the API Business Hub, API management, cloud integration, open connectors, integration advisor. To some extent, Alexei, I saw also some enterprise messaging questions, and so I saw also roadmap questions, migration questions from SAP Process Orchestration Integration Suite. So in this context, we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So let's maybe get started. Alexei, I'm not sure whether you are on the call. then kindly speak up. Otherwise, of course, I can go through your questions. I mean, these are questions which we see actually coming up frequently. So a lot of customers have a Neo history, started out many years ago and have Neo instances, cloud platform integration or cloud integration, API management, and keep on adding further capabilities, enterprise messaging and other Cloud Foundry capabilities. We keep on supporting, of course, Neo. So there's no end of life. So one myth which is maybe out there that Neo will go away is end of life, that customers must migrate, not at all. So we keep on supporting Neo as well. However, as you also rightly outlined in your questions, that we have the integration suite enabled, however, only on Cloud Foundry, so in a multi-cloud environment. Key reason is here that we get, of course, capabilities out of the Cloud Foundry environment, and that we have brought nicely together cloud integration capabilities such as cloud integration, API management, open connectors, and the integration advisor under one integration suite umbrella running on multiple hyperscale environments, which also comes with benefits that we are not able to support out of the Neo environment. And you were asking about new capabilities, roadmap for the integration suite. So I have provided here a couple of slides in which we can take a starting point. So this is of course a highlight of the roadmap, the detailed roadmap. I will also show you where you can find the detailed roadmap. So one, which I also saw in your questions, is the hybrid deployment option of the integration suite. So this is definitely on the roadmap. So where we target to replace eventually all integration scenarios from process orchestration with the integration suite. An initial deployment option, which I recorded in the roadmap session end of last year. We originally planned it actually this year, but as of today, it looks like that an initial hybrid deployment option of the integration suite we will have next year, so in 2022 only. We have already an on-premise deployment option together with process orchestration. SAP process orchestration comes already, version 7.5, with an on-premise deployment option of cloud integration. However, coupled only together with process orchestration, this hybrid deployment option would be then on a hybrid deployment option independent of process orchestration, and this is targeted as we speak for next year only, and it would include API management capabilities as well as the cloud integration capabilities. Yeah, so this is roadmap topic number one, which was also I saw in your questions. Cloud-based B2B is another important roadmap topic, where we target B2B monitoring, trading partner management capabilities, so more and more B2B capabilities that you also are familiar from process orchestration, trading partner management, where you can manage, like in a repository, trading partner information, which you can then also use to configure automatically in your integration scenarios, and taking the artifacts that you have configured in the trading partner management repository. Low-code API management, this is what we're currently heavily working on. So bringing here API management and cloud integration closer together, that you will be able to, for example, define, create an API directly in the cloud integration capabilities of the integration suite, and then generate an iFlow directly within the cloud integration capabilities of the integration suite, and then easy navigate to API management capabilities and attach further runtime policies, for example, so that we make it easier and easier to define APIs and create an iFlow, for example, out of it. Evolution of the API Business Hub, this is already visible. A better version of the API Business Hub is already visible. We can show to you where you have an UX refresh. You can nicely navigate now, find easier your integration scenarios, for example. So UI refresh already happened. So this is work in progress as we speak. Another planned capability would be your own custom API Business Hub, what we call SAP API Business Hub Enterprise. This is also work in progress. increased usability, search capabilities, work in progress, and tons of further capabilities like DevOps, CI/CD pipeline. This was one of the questions. We have also a customer engagement initiative running where you can actively also influence SAP, and where we provide updates, where we stand with mocks, with ideas, with screenshots, etc. So just last week, we presented our plans around CI/CD pipeline, how we support it already as of today with open APIs or data APIs, clear feedback, of course, to be honest, also that we need to even more tightly integrate it and provide here a more automated CI/CD pipeline support. So this is here what we have on the roadmap. Further adapters, Kafka adapter is actually planned for end of Q1. REST adapter and own REST adapter we have in the pipeline. We do support REST already, but want to have an own adapter type where we also nicely integrate better integrate the JSON converter so that you can do that you don't need a separate pipeline step or iFlow step for the JSON converter, but can directly configure it in the adapter. OFTP2 adapter we have on the roadmap. Availability on Google Cloud Platform by end of this year is another highlight on the roadmap. Exactly once handling is closer on the roadmap. Exactly once in order handling for the IDOC adapter is on the roadmap. Then reusable artifacts, as you know it from the ESR, from process orchestration, reusable mappings, Groovy scripts, EU access, compliance for integration suite on multi-cloud is on the roadmap, and so on. So a long list of further capabilities. Maybe for the sake of time, I probably won't be able to go through all your for the integration suite in roadmap in detail. Of course, we would like to hear your questions as well. So further, so everybody who is interested, at least as part of the recording, you can take, maybe I leave it here for a moment. You can take a look at the roadmap for the integration suite. You can find the roadmap also in the Roadmap Explorer. I have opened it here in the Roadmap Explorer. So here you can find the roadmap in further details along Q1, Q2, etc. You can influence the roadmap via the influence session that we have open for the integration suite. And to the CIO guide, I come in a minute. So I hope this already helps a little bit regarding the roadmap questions. High availability, right? This is also part of the roadmap. So better availability. Let me go back to these slides. It's also explicitly mentioned here. So by end of Q1 or beginning of Q2, we intend to provide, so let me just check whether I can find it here. High availability. So here it's on the Q2 column. So this is currently planned for the Neo data center only in Frankfurt. For other data centers like AWS and Microsoft Azure, for example, this is then also planned currently more towards end of this year, where we provide support of so-called multi-availability zone. And availability zone is nothing more than an own isolated building, so a small data center in a region which has its own set of power supply and network devices, etc. So if one availability zone would go down, automatically another one could take over, which leads to much better disaster recovery capabilities with some KPIs that we target here. And again, so planned availabilities in 2021 distributed, so in Q2, the Neo data center in Frankfurt, and for multi-cloud environments then towards the end of this year. Yeah, this was the question around better availability. API management capabilities. So here, right, so this requirement you also heard that we have a couple of restrictions like these timeout restrictions. And this is also work in progress. So maybe I take a pause here for a minute. Not sure whether, for example, Vinayak, sorry, whether you would like to give an update here around planned API management capabilities regarding these timeouts that we have. Otherwise, I continue.
Yes. And hey, Udo, this is Vina. I think I'm just going to give a note to all the participants. Thank you very much for typing your questions and answers into the Q&A button. We want to give you another opportunity to be able to ask your questions live as well. So if you actually want to ask in front of the group and have us answer live, go ahead and raise your hand, and then I'll be able to allow you to speak. And then you can ask your questions to the experts that we have here. Does that sound good?
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Perfect.
That way we're not reading and typing. We want to make sure this is,
sure.
We want to make sure everyone's taking advantage of your knowledge.
Yes, definitely. So exactly. So maybe I pause here now for a second. I was talking now enough. Thanks so much, Alexei, for providing the questions here up front. But now, exactly. So maybe pause here for a minute. Any live questions?
Yes. So as we're waiting for people to raise their hands, are there any question and answers, I guess, to Shar and everybody else that's in here helping out with the support as a co-host? If there's any questions that you think maybe we should just answer live instead of typing in, feel free to unmute yourself and pose it in front of the group. Looks like nobody is raising their hand so far, so we've got some time.
Cool, good. Yeah, then maybe I continue here. So API management covers roadmap. You can also find here in the slides as well as on the roadmap section. There was also one question here on positioning open connectors versus cloud integration. This would lead me here to the CIO guide. So the CIO guide was around the TechEd timeframe, so just a few weeks ago, was published, an updated CIO guide actually, which was also split into two guides. So a shorter version, a 7-pager with a summary, management summary for the CIO guide for integration. And from there is a link to the more detailed integration architecture guide, where you can find the remaining detailed explanation on SAP's integration guide for cloud and hybrid landscapes, also a detailed explanation on SAP's integration solution advisory methodology. So here you can find the table of contents. So with intelligent enterprises, I integrate enterprise. So here you can see integration is a key driver, a key pillar of our key cornerstone of our intelligent enterprise and integration strategy. And then on the aligned domain model, there was also a question in the blog, so you can find further information here. So at least on the SAP side, now we align the domain model to simplify the access to SAP applications. So the aligned domain model is also part of the integration suite, the solution advisory methodology, and then a detailed section on process integration as well as data integration. So you can find which kind of scenarios we support, API-based, B2B, B2G integration scenarios. Then also when to use what, comparison, positioning, process orchestration versus cloud integration capabilities. Also table when to use what, actually process orchestration clearly for on-premise to on-premise integration scenarios. This what we made here clear, and exceptional for customers who of course has a more on-premise focus. They can keep on using process orchestration further, but definitely other than that, in a cloud-to-cloud and hybrid integration scenarios, cloud platform integration is the recommended integration platform. And when you scroll down here, so I'm now a bit faster to give you the chance also to ask questions, cloud industry specific cloud solutions, and then further down, API management. And this is now application interface framework. Then API management capabilities are explained as part of the CIO guide. Master data integration, just one more Second, API management, and then I'm almost at the end of this section, and there you can find also further information. Here also positioning when, so we won't replace, and there's also a typical question or questions we hear more often: would we replace API management, or would we build in API management capabilities into integration? We bring these stacks closer together, and then with low-code API development. So this is here a response which I explained earlier. And ding, 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 ding. So here open connectors, and here, especially here in these sentences further down, so with the open connectors, they provide a simplified access to 160 and more non-SAP applications with an abstraction layer. So with the same look and feel, you can configure integration with the Salesforce application, or with HubSpot, or with Oracle, or with Twitter, Facebook. So the advantages of open connectors are definitely when you need to integrate with several third-party applications, then definitely open connectors is an ideal service to use. When you are looking more for heavy-duty transformations, mapping, routing capabilities, then cloud integration definitely is also a very good choice. So here in the CRO guide, this is the best practices guide when to use which service and for which integration scenarios. So if you have here heavy duty mapping, routing, protocol conversions, then definitely cloud integration is a perfect choice. If you're looking more for connecting to multiple non-SAP systems, more based on REST-based API calls, then definitely the open connectors capability of the integration suite are a very good recommendation from SAP. Yeah, this was the question here around positioning, open connectors, and cloud integration. CI/CD pipeline, as mentioned, so we are working on this, and we provided an update in our customer engagement initiative. So this is work in progress. Currently, it's more based on loosely coupled, based on open APIs where you can plug in the transport, for example, of integration artifacts, and we open APIs. We understand, of course, that you would like to have a tighter integration. Then maybe, so Rajit, you also had a couple of questions. Before I come to your questions, maybe I pause again here for a minute. Any updates also from my SAP friends and colleagues? Anything that you would like to add? Please feel free to speak up. Or any customers.
So thank you, Udo. This is Vina. So there aren't any hands raised, but I think there may be some follow-up questions for some of the Q&As, which I will hand over for Tushar and the group in case there's any follow-ups that are needed that we can answer live. Go ahead and let us know that now.
Good. So maybe we can go here also to Surajit's questions here, and then I will also take a look at the chat. So if there are no...
Yes, that looks good.
Good. So as mentioned, so we have done a rebranding mainly. So the business technology, so the reason is that we had platforms like the business technology platform and the SAP cloud platform, and there was always the question, so how many platforms do you have? So we consolidated our brands and all into the SAP business technology platform, which is the underlying foundation of SAP cloud solutions, as well as our platform. You can find the more information, or the SAP business technology platform is also actually listed in the integration strategy paper from our CEO Christian Klein. So this is the underlying platform for our SAP solutions, the Intelligent Enterprise, and our integration and extension services. So therefore, we have done now a rebranding, and it's we are running on top of the SAP Business Technology platform. Then this was the positioning question. So we talked about open connectors and cloud integration. And yeah, as per roadmap, so here, so Rajat, actually, so what we do plan actually, or what we have already, you can connect as of today a process orchestration on-premise instance to a cloud integration capability of the integration suite. You can connect these two systems with each other as of today already, and can upload message mappings, for example, from a PO system to a cloud integration tenant. So as of today already, we have the first migration capabilities. You can reuse so we have reused the PI mapping, PO mapping engine in cloud platform, in cloud integration. So message mappings can be reused already. XLT mappings can be reused already. And schema definitions can be uploaded to an integration flow. So a lot of capabilities, artifacts of process orchestration as of today can already be reused. Furthermore, as mentioned, we plan now during next year a first hybrid deployment option of the integration suite, covering API management and cloud integration capabilities on premise in form of a hybrid deployment option. And then in the next couple of years, we also do plan further migration tools. This is, however, not currently being worked on. So these migration tools would be planned for later, but these upcoming migration tools, whenever we will have them, don't hinder you to start reusing of key artifacts like message mappings, XLT mappings, and schema definitions as of today. As mentioned, you can already today migrate these artifacts by simply connecting a PO system to a CPI tenant or uploading mappings into a cloud integration tenant. So this is already possible as of today. Whenever we will have migration tools, what we could envision, for example, would be then also, as you described it here, that it could, for example, create a cloud integration iFlow based on a process orchestration iFlow, and or also based on an icon, an integrated configuration object. But this is future vision. We have also in the next few weeks an own customer engagement initiative running for a webinar as part of the customer engagement initiative, actually on our hybrid deployment option for the integration suite. So there we can share more details, listen to your feedback. But to be honest, today you can already upload several key artifacts from process orchestration into an integration suite tenant. And the first hybrid deployment option is planned for 2022. Good. And last but not least, also monitoring is monitoring we need to enhance. Definitely good feedback. This is also work in progress. So B2B monitoring, as I mentioned earlier, is work in progress. Then Fini, you rolled it out last week in the monthly webinar, for example. We already have done monitoring improvements. Now you can view custom headers, for example, in the cloud integration monitoring. For example, you can search for all the MPL header attributes, for example, and also the integration package to which an integration flow belongs is also being displayed in the monitoring. Yeah. So we get better and better in monitoring. Further enhancements there will be around B2B monitoring, as mentioned. Also here, B2B monitoring we will enhance, and further monitoring capabilities. We also feature requests we received through the influence session. So here, for example, we received feedback to have also similar monitoring capabilities like on process orchestration. We can filter also according scenarios, and for one scenarios you can find all the messages, for example. Payload search we receive via this influence session. So the influence session actually is also a very good starting point for you to look for either existing feature requests and then vote if the feature request already exists, or in case you don't find your feature request here in the listed in this influence session, then also please submit your own feature requests. We have twice a year a review cycle. So we just finished the second review cycle, and we, as you can see, so we have quite a number of feature requests that we received here. And so if a feature request receives 10 or more votes, then we need to officially and analyze it together with our development organization, product owners, chief product owners, and review your feature request. A couple of them we delivered already, accepted it for the next 3 to 6 months, plan it for long term, meaning up to 12 months. So actually there's quite a good ratio of these, almost 50% of the feature that we collected here and which have 10 or more votes, we also accepted either in the next 3 to 6 months or as part of our roadmap within the next 12 months. Good. Then maybe I pause here again and open up.
Very good.
Forum.
Or you must need a drink of water, maybe. It looks like there's one open question in the question and answer. If maybe you want to take a look at that. We had so far, just for everybody who is an attendee, if you would like to ask your question live, go ahead and push the raise hand button so then I can unmute you or allow you to unmute yourselves and ask the questions for the group.
Super, aber thanks so much. I see here Paul and Axel and Trisha. Thanks so much for replying to the question. So let me take a look here at this question from the attendee. What should be the plan? Interface from SAP to CPI, right now. So I'm not sure SLD is mandatory. Migrate.
I think maybe I'll just verify this internally or take this question with us and then answer it later.
Yeah.
Maybe if you could send us your email address and then we could somehow get back to you. Yeah. You can
just for everybody. Yeah, and just for everybody, the attendees, just so you can see what the question is, it's what should be the plan when we move XI interfaces from SAP PO to SAP CPI. Right now, SLD is mandatory to use XI. If we migrate all from SAP PO to CPI and remove SAP PO, will it affect XI interfaces? So I think the question here is please submit your email address. And the
super. Thanks, Vina. Right. Next time I read it out. The complete.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Good. Thanks again, all my SAP colleagues, for taking all these questions. Super, wonderful. So you're silently working here. Cool. Thanks so much, everybody here from the SAP team. Then email address. Okay, thanks so much, Johan, for providing your email address. We'll take it. Good. Then any other questions? I can also update the blog again. Maybe somebody else submitted further questions.
Yes.
Good. Then I see another question. So my company decides not to use SAP CPI, but MuleSoft because EO does not like SAP. No other reason. So they also say that one day they may replace SAP with another ERP. So having MuleSoft will help them build more diversified integrations. So when can we expect integration? So what? Okay. So regarding this CPI but MuleSoft question, not sure what the actual question is. Maybe as one guidance is that we easily compete with MuleSoft, so we are not afraid of any competitive analysis. Maybe let me bring up here our latest Gartner MQ, the Gartner MQ. No? So it's of course not published by SAP, but published by Gartner, where we are afraid of any comparisons. We even better rated than MuleSoft. 70% of our customers, or the majority of our customers, or every customer in average has more non-SAP integration scenarios than SAP integration scenarios. So you're not bound with Integration Suite, not at all, to only focus on SAP integration scenarios, not at all. Of course, it comes with a lot of prepackaged content, but we even have non-SAP to non-SAP integration content. Let me show you here one slide that we actually just prepared here on non-SAP integration scenarios. So we provide here prepackaged content, 150 for integration scenarios for non-SAP integration scenarios, be it in the context of HR, recruit to retire related scenarios with integration to Microsoft, ADP, benefit focus, etc. Customer CX integration related scenarios with integration with Google on24, MindTouch, Facebook, Twitter, S4HANA integration scenarios with Salesforce, all these e-government scenarios in 30 plus countries where we comply with legal, or you as a customer can comply with legal changes. From Austria to United States, Thailand, Singapore, South Korea, New Zealand. So here we provide tons of non-SAP integration scenarios. So the support of non-SAP is equal good. Of course, we can integrate SAP always better, and since we are an SAP shop, but non-SAP integration is the majority of our customers also integrates with non-SAP systems. So if you have any concerns, of course, please let us know where we can help you addressing features that you miss on cloud integration or integration suite. Please let us know. So I hope I answered this question here, or at least this comment here. So we don't fear any competitive analysis with MuleSoft. We are even better rated, and customers use. The majority of our customers uses it also for non-SAP integration scenarios. So I hope I could provide here enough feedback. So then what else? What is the roadmap for connectivity with Oracle DB? Right, so this is also a very good question. So we have released the JDBC adapter. Currently it doesn't support Oracle DB yet, the Microsoft SQL. And this is on the roadmap. Not sure whether Finny would have it, or Axel or anybody else. I don't have it now on top of my mind, but if you can respond to the question.
Come again, Udo, sorry. Can you come again, please?
Yes. I think somebody else already responded. Our support for Oracle DB, we have JDBC adapter. Was the question. Genau. Kafka adapter is also planned for end of Q1, so around the corner. It's already developed just in our IIT cycle in a test and acceptance test. Currently, we run on the Kafka adapter, so this is around the corner. Is Kafka adapter based on API proxy provided by Kafka, or will it connect directly with Kafka Q using Java client? So this is also a good question.
I'm trying to clarify, yeah.
We need to clarify. Genau, super. Thank you. Then
Udo.
Sorry
to interrupt, but it looks like we have a hand raiser.
Yes.
So Sugata, I'm going to allow you to speak and ask your question. And just for everybody on the phone, we have about 5 minutes left. So we're going to answer this question and do a wrap up. And then I'll make sure to share with everybody a link where you can ask any more questions. And that's also where any unanswered questions from today's session, we will be posting them to the community. So with that, Sugata, you should be able to unmute yourself and speak.
Hey, thanks everyone. Yeah, I'm Sugata. I'm just having a quick question. As we discussed earlier, like we can import the maps from PI to CPI with the migration tool, the current one that we are having right now. So my question is, like in PI, we are developing maps with different JDK versions, like JDK 1.6 or JDK 1.8. So how this JDK compatibility will be addressed in CPI when we import? Will that be automatically addressed, or is that something we have to manually change before we import or after we import?
Thank you, Sugata, for your question. So I'm looking now again at my experts, and I think we support JDK 8 no? On cloud integration.
Yes.
So I think, Axel, maybe.
Yeah, we support right now Java 8. So the question, if you right now have your scripts running on a JDK 6, I think it's right now it's up to you to ensure that at least you're up on JDK 8 or 1.8 to ensure compatibility.
Okay.
But how exactly this will look, I mean, yeah, we have to check while moving forward. So, I mean, of course, it's in our interest that you also move on your PO scenarios to CPI or to the integration suite. So if you have dedicated requirements or something that what would be beneficial for this, then kindly let us know via email or something, so that we can also discuss this with development and the whole team, like how to smoothen the way from PO to CPI and what we all need to pay attention to.
Yeah, perfect. That's a good point. Thank you. Thanks. Axel, I also bring up here. So exactly, so we support Java 8, which is also supported by Oracle until 2030. No? So it's really a long-term supported Java release. Regarding the hybrid integration side, this is this customer engagement initiative that we have currently running. Last week, Axel, you had the one on DevOps on the integration suite. And if you would like to add something more, you can also provide here more insights. Otherwise, of course, so April 8, I hope the date is still correct. We have also one CI call. This goes on invitation. You need to have a signed feedback agreement. So please feel free to reach out to us if you would like to join this cycle of the customer engagement initiative. So beginning of April 8, we'll have a separate, dedicated call on this hybrid deployment option of the integration suite. And monitoring, for example, this was also in the blog. So if you're interested in our monitoring enhancements, we bring our integration suite closer together. So we have an integration suite, coherence, Neo to Cloud Foundry migration, best practices are still to come, right? And partner content on the API Business Hub.
Okay. So thank you very much. I'm so sorry. We only have about 2 minutes, so I think we need to wrap this call up unless we all want to get kicked off the Zoom call abruptly. So I want to thank everybody for joining this call. I want to thank you, Udo. I want to thank you, Tushar. I want to thank all of the different support team members that have been answering all of these questions live. Udo, if you wouldn't mind, if you could go to that slide that is at the end of the deck, just for everybody to know any unanswered questions or any of the questions that are still open and outstanding in our Q&A, we will answer them. You can post any more questions to the blog that was included in the registration link, or you can post them directly to the SAP community, and I will post in the chat room a couple links that'll be helpful for you. We also have a topic page for the SAP Integration Suite, as well as some tags that you can follow so that you can make sure that you keep up to date. So with that, we want to wish everybody, good mornings, good afternoons, good evenings, and thank you very much for joining us on this call. And again, thank you for all of our co-hosts for, here I'm in New York, it's very snowy, but this has been a very entertaining way to spend my time while I'm looking out simultaneously into the snowstorm.
Super, thanks so much, Veena, for your great organization and host of our session, and everybody, all my co-speakers. Super, thanks so much for answering so many questions. Really wonderful. Thank you so much.